Now, I've got to be totally honest with you, I used to think the rig putty was rig putty and it was all much of a muchness. That was until I had a chat with Dave from Kryston one day. It was a couple of years ago, and Dave told me the full story. Basically, they were the original people to supply it in England, but the company they were actually getting it off, manufacturing it, stopped making it. So Dave actually contacted them and managed to buy the formula of the stuff, because every other company that he tried to source it off from the Far East, it just wasn't the same, you know. Apparently a lot of the ones you get from out there have got wax in them. Now wax obviously floats, so that's working against you straight away. So anyway, he managed to buy the formula, and not only did he manage to knock it up himself, he's actually managed to improve it vastly. It's a lot heavier than it was before. It's got a massive amount of tungsten powder in there, and as a result, it does a far better job than any of the others. Obviously, it is a lot heavier, but secondly is the actual sort of workability of it. I'm not sure if that's even a word, but it sounds good. Literally, all you've got to do is take a piece and actually sort of work it a little bit, and what you're doing is there's loads and loads of tiny little particles in there, and as you're pulling it about like a bit of chewing gum, they're warming up, so it's sort of like friction. And as you do that, you can see it gets softer, and then you can mould it around whatever you want. I use it in various uses throughout with my fishing, pinning down pop-ups, just pinning down rigs in general. If you've got like a nice sort of soft braided rig, generally once that's on the bottom, what you'll find is that the centre of it will sort of sit up, so you don't really want that. All it takes is a tiny little piece, so if I just pinch a little bit off here that I've been working with, and, I mean that is sort of the size of a little matchman's shot. And then just work that onto that middle bit, twist it round, and you can get this stuff really, really fine. But whilst you're working with it, it stays quite soft. As soon as you dip it in the water, those particles cool down and it stiffens up. So there you go. I mean, you can just keep twiddling it and get it as fine as you like on your hook link. Another one, I use fluorocarbon leaders quite a lot. Now obviously fluorocarbon sinks on its own anyway, so you don't really need putty on there, but obviously your last few feet you want that pinned down as much as possible. So a few sections like that, just dotted along the line, make all the difference. I don't think it stands out much, but obviously it just breaks up the shape of that too. Now fluorocarbon's meant to be pretty much invisible underwater, so again, it wouldn't really make a huge difference. But a lot of people, using these other types of leaders, and again, you can work that onto any type of leader. Just be aware that if you are using a running lead or something, it's got to be able to pass over it. To be honest with you, probably better off not. If you're using a running lead, leave that out. But if you're using a lead clip or anything like that, where the lead will come off, hasn't got to slide up the line, then it's well worth using. Now originally, Dave produced them in 3 separate colours. You've got a brown, a green and the original, bit of a metal-y colour. Nowadays, he produces the same amount, but in 3 different colours. So in one tub, you get all 3, and you get the same amount of weight as you would if you were to buy them individually. So obviously, you don't go for 3 tonnes of putty. One of them is probably going to last you at least a season. As I said, there's absolutely loads of applications for heavy metal, but until you've used this Kryston stuff, you won't realise how good it actually is.